not the opera. This is not a board meeting.
The financial synergies of the vertical integration have drastically improved the profits of the last month's earning projections.
This is not a conversation with a girl from Western.
So basically, if you don't go to Western, you need to reevaluate your life.
This is CFMU Sports, and it's worth getting excited about.
Touchdown, Boston College! He did it! He did it! Flutie did it! Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier!
They went for it all! A diving pass for a touchdown! Holy cow! Would you believe this?
Oh, wow! In your life have you seen anything like that?
Down the sideline! Can they catch him? Wow! Touchdown! Unbelievable! Oh my goodness! What a play!
The inbounds pass comes into Jordan. Here's Michael at the foul line. A shot on Elo. Good! The Bulls win! They win it!
Whether you love McMaster athletics, MMA fighting, or general sports talk, CFMU Sports brings you a variety of shows to feed your sports appetite, while also presenting live Marauder basketball and volleyball games on Fridays and Saturdays throughout the school year. Follow us at Marauder_radio on Twitter for scores, updates, and interviews with all your favorite local athletes and coaches on CFMU 93.3, redefining radio in your community. That clip of the Western Girl is still my favorite thing that happens at this radio station of all time, but that's another story for another day. I'm joined in studio now. I was hoping I would have them here, and they have actually dropped in. It is Allie and Taylor from Women's Squash here at McMaster. Girls, how are you this morning?
Very good. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm glad that you're here. We spoke last night about maybe trying to get you in, but I wasn't sure if you were going to show. We were going to have a conversation about a bunch of football stuff, but this show has been so football dominated for the last 3 months. I'm very excited to have.
Or this school.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's true. But it's been so dominated by that I'm excited to have, I don't want to say a niche sport, but it's something that you guys know obviously doesn't get a ton of attention on this campus. Tell us a little bit about how your training and competition has gone through the season up to this point.
All right. Well, start training for squash around the end of September. Our tournaments start up in October, November, and then we're just training during December. Going into the new year, our first tournament's the first weekend back. It's a Squash Ontario tournament, so it's not like a team sport. It's not based on university teams at all. It's just individual tournament. It's at White Oaks in Niagara.
Nice.
And that's
White Oaks Casino?
White Oaks Spa.
Oh, yeah. I'm just imagining a bunch of poker tables in Niagara Falls surrounding squash.
No, it's a really fancy racquet club and spa, so It's not a bad spot to have our first tournament of the year. And then we get into OUAs, which is it's the last weekend of January, first weekend of February. Weekend after that, we have a Jesters sectional, which is kind of like our, it's a sectional. So Jesters is just the name of the body that kind of runs it, but it's like our OUA sectional. And then what?
Then we have the Jesters final. So there's two divisions. There's an East and a West division, and we're in the West with Waterloo, Laurier, and Western.
Yeah, and we're number 2 in our division.
Yeah, I spoke to you guys last night a little bit about the semi-dominance of, obviously, the men's squash team at Western competes in the NCAA.
Yes.
That's a pretty unique situation. That's like a Simon Fraser playing in Canada but playing in the NCAA Division 2 otherwise for a bunch of different sports. If you were to compete at the NCAA level, because correct me if I'm wrong, do the women compete at the NCAA level, or they're strictly OUA?
Just the men's team.
Okay, so there is no women's team that competes in the NCAA, but the idea of an OUA school, because we've talked about, again, major, conference sports that get a ton of revenue and money in the States are basketball, football. Mm-hmm. We can't compete with those schools based on revenue.
Yeah.
However, in a smaller sport that has less athletes, that requires perhaps less money for training, coaching, do you think you could compete at an NCAA level?
The competition level is just not the same, like even slightly. To give you some perspective, the who is it? What's
the number 2 at Queens?
Yeah.
She used to play 10 at Harvard, and she dominates, I guess, at the number 2 spot because that's how we play. Everyone is ranked on your team.
Yeah.
So you're ranked like 1 to 7, and then your 1 plays the other school's respective ones.
Right. Really, eh?
Yeah, that's how it works.
So
That's how it becomes a team sport.
Yeah, is there coaching involved in determining the best possible matchup regardless of your actual ranking? Like if you thought that your number 4 was a better matchup for their 3, would you bump your 4 to the 3 spot?
You could if you've played them before and you like know their playing style, because often you'll like end up meeting the same people because no one drastically moves in the ranks.
Okay.
So if you're like, okay, I know how this person plays, I think I can beat her, like sometimes we'll talk about it, but usually it's based on like how we are within each other.
How often does a number 7 get bumped to a number 1 based on their willingness to take out the number 1 of the other team?
Never.
That was the stupid question I was telling you.
You just flip the racket the other way around and have a go.
The butt end.
Just chase them around the court.
I gotta admit, I've played squash maybe 3 times in my time here at Mac. It's fun as all get out. It's awesome.
It's great.
How do you not run into people every time you play?
Do.
Yeah, but like maybe it's just that I don't run through contact. Maybe that's a poor side of me playing quarterback that I can't complete through contact. But when I bump into someone, I don't know how, like, it actually does blow my mind when I watch squash that even when I'm walking through D-back, when I see people playing and there's like a little nudge and they don't just stop and go, and get you know what I mean? Get pissed off and be like, come on. They bump me every time. Like, I would be so soft with that. I don't understand how you are able to edge your way around and like. Well,
you find a way to just get around. Like, it's tight quarters for sure. So you get used to it, I guess.
What are the rules and restrictions on contact and fighting through to get to the spot?
Basically, if there's like minimal interference, if you're able to complete the shot, you just have to like push your way by a bit with minimal interference. Then you're intended on playing the ball.
This sounds like a CIS ruling on snow.
Yeah.
It's like,
if you can do it, then do it.
Yeah. And if you can, if there is contact, so if you're having to, I mean, if it's over minimum contact, then you raise your hand and ask for a let from the referee. And the referee will decide if that shot that you could have played was a point-winning shot, and they'll give you a stroke for that, meaning that you get a point. And if it's a let, you just replay it.
Define minimum contact for me. Are we talking like elbow to the temple? Or
No, like
a shoulder bump.
Yeah, a little shoulder
Or
bump.
if you like graze
contact.
someone on your way to the ball, but it doesn't stop you from getting there, then it would be minimal interference because you theoretically could have gotten there if you kept going.
This actually does sound like the challenging of pass interference. It's like there was minimal contact. Like, I'm trying to put it into football terms that I understand, right? And there's so much conversation now about, well, there was minimal contact on the receiver, but the defensive back didn't turn his head to play the ball, but the offensive player was trying to fight back towards the ball to attempt to make a catch. Because I was watching.
If you're going full tilt, right? Like, minimal doesn't mean that. Like, minimal means a lot more if you're going full hog and.
Yeah.
Full hog?
Mm-hmm.
Full hog.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, man. Come on. Give it
full
the time.
Hog.
Where are you from again? Say it again.
Whitby. I'm west of you, so you can't say anything.
But how far north of Whitby are you from? Are you from
I'm on
like
the 401, man?
Oh.
Yeah.
So you're right by.
Sorry, dude.
Okay. Well, I was hoping you were from like way up north, and you were just like, yeah, Whitby. It's the closest metropolitan area. Yeah.
I'm going to use that next time I'm reffing a
full
match.
hog.
Say, she was going full hog.
Yeah.
So,
and then your credibility is gone.
Yeah. You know, I would love if you were just screaming at an official, I was going full hog! Just freak out and yell at him.
But what is the worst altercation you've seen in a squash game? Like something like basically just coming to blows because of some physical contact in it? Because I could see it escalating real quick.
Well, there's some. Okay, I don't know about I'll let you answer this question, but I want to talk about...
Thrown under the bus.
So we can confirm that Allie has been in a fight.
Taylor and I and another girl on our team went to watch the Women's Worlds competition. It was all week last week. The finals were this past Sunday, was it? Or Saturday?
Saturday, yeah.
And we went to watch France versus Egypt on Wednesday night.
Hong Kong.
Was it Wednesday night? Yeah. France versus Hong Kong.
Where was that?
At White Oaks.
White Oaks
nice.
in Niagara. And so these are like professional referees, obviously, like world-renowned referees that are reffing the matches. And we were watching a match between the number 3 from France versus the number 3 from Hong Kong.
Okay.
And the girl from Hong Kong got in her way big time. She turned around and called for a let. And in this case, the referee had to, because you also have to use your discretion. She might have been in your way, but the shot was amazing. And there's no way you would have got to it. And the ref literally said there's also a bit of a language barrier there because the refs are international. The players are international. And the referee turned to the girl from France, and she was complaining. She was like, no, that's a stroke. That's a less. She was in my way, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, no, sorry. And then finally he just said, too good for you. Sorry. And everyone started laughing. This girl is number 3 in France.
Probably top 20 in the world. Phenomenal athlete. Could probably get to anything.
She was like, Jesus Christ, you're making a comment on how good I am?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And that method of just using their discretion, that was a really good shot. That just lends itself to bribery and a lot of sketchy stuff.
Yeah, you wouldn't have got to it, so sorry, too good for you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was going to say the idea of global power struggles and nuclear threats from a world the corruption.
There you go. You got to keep that in mind as well.
I feel like this is the outline of a movie that could easily be made.
Squash is balanced in international politics.
Yeah, where it's this kind of niche sport where it's you can kind of work any political influence in you want, and there's a major tournament in Istanbul, and then you go there, and that's where the deal is done. Maybe that's what Spectre will be all about, the new James Bond movie. That would be awesome.
Squash being this platform for political controversy.
I'll write that movie. I don't care. I need
no more football.
Based on your 5 minutes of knowledge of squash, you're in the movie.
I have a lot of time on my hands now, and I don't need to wait around for someone else to create a movie. While you were here, something that Scott and I kind of small discussion on Twitter about this week that I wanted to bring up to you, because talking about the CIS Women's Athlete of the Week from the perspective of two, I want to say men, but we'll say little boys. Yeah. From two guys, isn't really the conversation that people want to hear. So this week, do you know who Haley Wickenheiser is? Are you familiar?
Yes.
Yes. She won.
The next question.
Yeah. She won the CIS Women's Athlete of the Week this past week. Mm-hmm. She plays hockey at the University of Calgary. And my question for you is...
She's 32 and played professional hockey.
And this is a great conversation to have because I've had it with 2 or 3 people this week and I've had a different answer from every single person. Mm-hmm. The morality of awarding a CIS Athlete of the Week to someone who has 4 Olympic golds, 1 Olympic silver, 7 World Championships, 5 World Championship silvers, and has won the Four Nations Cup 10 times, most of those as the captain of Team Canada, one of the most, if not the most, storied and awarded women's hockey player of all time, winning an award that many people feel is designated for, I don't want to say people of normal age, because she's enrolled and she's taking classes at Calgary and she's eligible and she's everything that
is she taking at
any
Calgary?
Of us are. I don't know. I'll find out for you.
I'd love
That's
to know.
That's a great question. Yeah, it is a great question. I'll look her up on the roster because it has to list.
I think it's kinesiology. I want to say kinesiology.
Just an undergrad?
I believe so, yeah. But if she was in... But either way, I just want your thoughts on, cause it's a weird situation, right? The optics are bad for the CIS to have someone who has won so many things at a professional and national level come in but at the same time, what makes her ineligible for the award? Nothing really.
I don't know, I feel like that award is maybe a good opportunity for athletes who are starting out in their sort of career development or sport development, so I don't know if it's maybe entirely, like you're saying, there's nothing that makes her ineligible for it, but I don't know if it's entirely appropriate for someone who is so decorated as an athlete to win an award that would maybe help someone who isn't as decorated as just starting out. I don't know.
And I think it's intended at amateur athletes, same way. You can make this similar argument for the Olympics. Originally intended at amateur athletes, right. And you have
and then the dream team
NHL
comes along.
Players that are... It's the same 3-4 teams in the finals every year, every Winter Olympics.
Fingers crossed for Belarus.
I'm riding Latvia.
Breakthrough performance. Is Arturs Urbe back in net for Latvia?
And I just think it takes away from the overall goal of the CIS in this case.
I agree with that a lot, man.
Yeah.
You pointed out on Twitter, Scott, that Is there no other female athlete in all of Canada
You're
that is doing anything?
Literally no one else had a standout week that you put. And my perspective is, so I worked with someone like something that did Players of the Week after week. The point of that is to get media attention.
Yep.
Because it's something easy that you think you can put a photo and they can plug it in. So what the goal of that is, if you're the CIS, well, it should be, is we'll take women's basketball player for Women's Basketball Player of the Week. She had 25 points and 10 rebounds. She's Player of the Week. And hopefully her paper, her local paper, the whatever school she's from.
The Kingston Whig Standard.
Yeah, Kingston Whig, like anything picks that up, and then the CIS gets their brand in a paper. Putting Haley Wickenheiser for a CIS, no one is going to care because she's probably been on the cover of the Globe and Mail.
Herself.
Yeah.
She probably herself
who
doesn't
hasn't?
care
Oh,
about
really?
the award.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah. No, that's true. Like, so that would mean a lot to someone.
That would mean a lot to someone who doesn't have 4 Olympic gold medals.
Anyone in the league. Anyone in the CIS, if they got that, it would mean a lot too. Haley Wickenheiser's like, I've
been recognized on an international scale.
Yeah. That's exactly the problem.
An award from the CIS is not even something I'm putting up on my trophy case.
Yeah, do you think she's going to hang that next to her 4 Olympic gold medals as the captain of Team Canada? Like, put this little plaque / piece of paper, because there's plaques for National Players of the Year, so I doubt it's anything more than a piece of paper.
It's probably just a certificate or some shit.
Yeah, it would have to be. It's to me it was troubling either way. Like, I just found it frustrating. I thought it was wrong in a lot of ways, but I've also talked to people this week that made the point to me, she's eligible. Yeah, it looks bad, but if she's the best player and she's eligible, regardless of age.
Yeah, but this isn't my thing. Someone else said that, and I was like, yeah, this isn't for her. She's eligible for it, but she's also way better than everyone else she's playing. Like, she is so much more talented than the average CIS athlete compared to just the baseline. Like, just
her profile on the Calgary Dinos website is amazing. First of all, every single woman on this team picture is wearing a red, what looks like their home Calgary Dinos uniform. She's wearing a white uniform, so she sticks out in another way because they
decided, team photo.
Yeah, because they decided to give her a different color uniform for some reason. Just special.
They should have just made her wear red and then have her bring like all of her medals and stuff.
She's just a regular 5'9" fourth-year student from Shaunavon, Saskatchewan. It lists her degree as graduate studies, and
she's in 4th year though.
Previous team affiliations on this team: the Sexsmith Viper Junior Bees, the Edmonton Thunder, the Westman Wildcats, something called Edge School. I have no idea what Edge School is. St. Mary's University, Minnesota of the WWHL, St. Francis Xavier, the Calgary Bruins, Finland, Rauman, Lukko, Colgate University, Swift Current Wildcats, and Team Canada.
So, just at the end there.
She played for Colgate and SMU, so she's already played for 2 different schools, and then she goes to play for
St. FX.
Oh my god!
And
what's
St.
the
Mary's.
point of this? CIS.
Yeah, this is weird. I'd love to know.
Here's the other side
on the
of
surface, and then you start looking at it, and you're like, I regret this.
Yeah. So here's my other question, though. As a learning experience for 2 women who are involved in CIS sport,
don't.
What?
Don't be involved in CIS sport.
No, yeah. I thought you were just going to say don't go there. I was like, you don't even know where I'm going with this. No. The learning experience that these other women are able to learn from being with somebody that story. Do you think that's a positive side of this? Does that have any upside?
For sure, yeah. Like the other women hockey players on UFC, I'm sure that's the opportunity of a lifetime. Like,
yeah, I'm sure
they're playing
that
with Haley Wickenheiser.
Brown and Stevens from Waterloo, who used to play with the Waterloo Midget AA team, I'm sure that she's pumped to be playing with Haley Wickenheiser.
She's calling her mom, and she's like, watch the game tonight.
Haley said hi to me. She looked at
me. Exactly, but the whole controversy surrounding her getting that award, I think, in my personal opinion, I don't think it accomplishes what they're looking to do as an organization. Yeah. So
I seriously doubt that if there was like the men's hockey equivalent of that, and I'm not going to say like an NHL guy coming here because that just wouldn't happen, but if there was a men's equivalent for hockey, he wouldn't get it because they would be like, oh, we'll give it to someone else, but like because it's women's sports, they're like, oh, token, like we'll try and get people to notice women's sports by putting Haley there, which is like, yeah, you're missing the point.
I agree with that.
Yeah, it's very true. We unfortunately have to start wrapping things up. A couple of quick hits I wanted to hit on. The San Diego Chargers Twitter account, I had no idea how hilarious it was until last night when Lana started retweeting a bunch of things that they've put out in previous years on Twitter. If you can't tell, Twitter and Scott and I we're very close. They're our best friends. Yeah. Last night at Chargers got retweeted from a while ago from their official account. Damn, so hungry. Need to go find my wife and head to PF Chang's. It wasn't a mistake. It's literally, that's like the directive of the San Diego Chargers Twitter account is to just be real with it, which is amazing. Then another one an hour later, PF Chang's is so good. And then an hour after that, launched a MySpace page today for the Chargers, and we are for sure going to hit 400 friends today. Holler.
What year is this from?
So
This is like
funny. 2009
that the Chargers official account was.
But it must have
But
been
these
like an
tweets are-
old Twitter account, and then they just changed the name. Like one guy's old Twitter account, like probably director
Like a
of PR.
fan group, and then it turned into an official account
No, I'm
because that
thinking
guy
like
was hired
director
on.
of PR
Yeah.
had a Twitter account, and then he gave out like all of the information through that,
Yeah.
but also kept it personal, and then just. But who discovers that? Who goes into like the archive?
Lana. I don't even understand how to look up something I've wanted to do for a while. If anybody wants to help me do this, at Marsh2Fergs on Twitter, I want to know how to look up my tweets
I'll show you.
yeah, you know how?
Yeah, I know
Oh
how.
man.
From
There goes
like,
my Monday.
someone else's perspective?
No,
No.
just look up cause you can scroll backwards for a long ways, and then eventually when it hits like 2-3 months, depending on how much you tweet, which I probably do too much, then when you go back, it just stops and says could not load older threads kind of thing. But there's like a way to find your archives.
I don't know.
Which is terrible because when you start with Twitter, you say things like, "Hello, Twitter." Happy to be here.
Yeah.
Or you tweet your favorite
Happy to
athletes.
be
Like,
here.
Yeah. I just want to know what high school naive idiot Marshall was tweeting. Cause
Were you tweeting since high school?
oh yeah. I was
Really?
on
Yeah,
it. I was on it grade 11, grade 12, I think I hopped
Yeah.
on. That was but I'd be very interested to see, like, I'm probably tweeting in like grade 12 during basketball season, like, love my team. Like just the generic
Love the
sports.
squad.
Yeah.
Also,
Generic sports
yeah.
tweets. Awesome. I'm really excited for that. Yesterday was the first time since October 9th, 2011 that the Oakland Raiders and the Edmonton Oilers have won on the same day. I looked that up. Did the research. It's
since 2011.
2011. October 9th, 2011 was the last time the Raiders and Oilers won on the same day. Yeah. Pretty cool. Yeah. Poor Taylor Hall. He should have focused in my drama class in grade 10. He was just off the walls. He was in my drama class, by the way.
Was he?
Yeah, he got drafted to the OHL second overall because he refused to go to the Sioux first overall. And he was sitting in my class. We were working on a group project together, and I'll never forget my teacher, his name escapes me right now, looked over at us and said, he said, "Taylor, you need to work with your group," because Taylor had just gotten off the phone during the OHL draft that day, and Taylor just put up his hand and said, "Hey, I'm good. I just got drafted to the O," and just sat there. And for the next 2 weeks, for that every hour during drama class, he would sit in the corner on his phone. And the teacher, I would never forget, after he said, "Yeah, I'm good. I got drafted to the O," teacher just kind of nodded and went, "Yeah, he's probably right."
He's good.
He's
good to go.
guaranteed a large paycheck if anything goes right. And then he went to the Memorial Cup a couple times, blah, blah, blah. Now he's on the Oilers, who finally snap their 11-game losing streak, which was nice. But all right,
Hall,
that's
there you
pretty
go.
much going to do it for us.